Right, and welcome while we read about the Trail of Tears. The Trail of Tears was forced relocation of Native Americans, and it occurred from 1831 and lasted all the way to 1839. The Trail of Tears was when the United States government forced Native Americans to move from their homelands in the southern United States to Indian Territory, which was the original name of the state of Oklahoma. Peoples from the Cherokee, Muskogee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, and Seminole tribes, which were the so-called five civilized tribes, were marched literally at gunpoint over hundreds of miles to reservations, land reserved for the Native Americans to live on. It was usually bad, janky land that the Americans didn't really want at the time. Like, look, get off the land in Georgia. It's got gold on it. You can go live in dirty Oklahoma or Indian Territory, because Oklahoma wasn't a name yet. The Indian Removal Act, if you remember, was passed by Congress in 1830. The actual removal began with the Choctaw in 1831 and ended with the removal of the Cherokee in March of 1839. Few of the tribes actually wanted to leave their homeland, but they knew that they could not fight the United States government and actually win. They would lose. After the Indian Removal Act was passed in 1830, the Cherokee people resisted moving to Oklahoma the most. Eventually, President Andrew Jackson convinced some of the Cherokee leaders to sign an agreement called the Treaty of New Echota. By signing the treaty, they agreed to trade their homeland for land in Oklahoma and $5 million. However, many of the Cherokee leaders did not agree to the treaty. They petitioned Congress, begging them to let them stay. Congress told them that they had to leave by May of 1838 or that they would be forced to leave their land. When May arrived and only a few thousand Cherokee had left, General Winfield Scott was sent to remove the Cherokee by force. General Winfield Scott and his soldiers rounded up the Cherokee people into large prison camps called stockades. In many cases, the Cherokee were not allowed to gather up their possessions before being put into the camps. They were just grabbed and forced into them. During the summer, some groups were forced to start marching all the way to Oklahoma on foot. Many people died from the heat and diseases, and the remainder of the people were held in camps until fall. In the fall, the rest of the Cherokee headed out to Oklahoma. It took them several months to travel around 1,000 miles across mountains and wilderness terrain on foot, I might add. They had to walk. The journey lasted into the winter months, making it very difficult and dangerous. So they started out, it's blistering hot, and they're dying from the heat, and then it lasted so long that they were literally freezing to death. Along the way, thousands of Cherokee and their African slaves died from diseases, starvation, and cold. It is estimated that at least 4,000 Cherokee died on the Trail of Tears. It's one of America's sins, perpetrated by Andrew Jackson and Congress at the time. Hope you're learning, and I hope you're having fun.